3D modeling! We love 3D modeling. It's amazing, it's great, perfect, nothing wrong with it. Coding? Boo, smelly, lame. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be taking a look at the hell I went through in trying to complete the 3D modeling assessment, and how I definitely kept my sanity in this. I'm really sorry if you didn't want this map. Planning. Before we can even begin the whimsical fun of modeling this artifact, we need to plan and come prepared for the battle, unlike this guy. So what will that include? To start off with, references. So I found a collection of images of Apache helicopters to help me really understand what I needed to capture in my model. Unfortunately, the internet just does not have any images of still Apaches on the ground. For some reason, all the pics I found were of it flying. Just walk like everyone else. I wish I did a tank. In the end, I ended up settling on a 3D model which I found by this guy. Basically, I had it on my second monitor and would check whenever I needed to whilst making the model. It allowed me to essentially look around the model and check the minor details of it so I knew exactly what I was doing and what I wanted to capture in the model. Next up was the method. I decided to use box modeling instead of plane modeling for my artifact since I found it much easier. And I knew if I did do plane modeling, I'd want to impale my heart with my own keyboard. But seriously, the reason why I did choose box modeling was because it'd be much more difficult to get all the intricate details of the model if I were to use plane modeling. So let's get started on how I made the model. To start, I tried to block out the Apache, but ultimately went against it after multiple failed attempts and decided to use a spline for the main body of the model. I then turned it into an editable poly, extruded, and then capped the border left behind it, and right there I had made more progress in 5 minutes than I had in 5 hours trying to block out this stupid thing. As a result, it made it easier for me to extrude out the nose, tail, and sides. However, the tail was too thick, so I thinned it out by stretching and squashing the end face. For a large part of the modeling process, I utilized poly editing, extruding in and outwards, beveling, chamfering, connecting, and swift looping like many of these images. So allow me to talk about some of the errors I encountered whilst making the model, along with any parts which required more attention. The turbo engine overall was fine. My issue was the hole at the front. I wanted it to be a circle, but ended up with not a circle. I don't even know what you call that thing. I should have used a cylinder instead and shaped the sides into a box, which would have then given the same effect whilst also having a circular hole at the front. For the tyres, I made it out of a tube and then ring selected all the side edges before connecting and moving them out, and then chamfering the inner and outer edges to smooth it. For the tread, I selected the top edges and connected all of them, then selected all their polygons, then used the insert tool for the bi-poly selection before extruding them to then make the tread. For the inner wheel though, I made another tube which I then built out and mirrored it on the other side. I ran into an issue whilst making a wire for the front landing gear. I had originally made a cylinder that I extruded and then rotated it to give it a curved look, but I should have lofted a spline instead to save me all that hassle. Whilst making the mounted gun turret underneath the helicopter, I realised I needed a magazine and some wiring. So learning from my mistake with the landing gear, I lofted a curved spline with a rectangle spline to create the magazine, and for the wiring, I did the same but with the circle spline instead of the rectangle spline. There were also areas in the modelling process where I utilised cloning and mirroring parts to help save time and keep things symmetrical. I'm glad I found this out before making the model, otherwise I would have made an Apache with body dysmorphia so bad it would have rivaled my own. Then I just added the little details which utilised lofting again to make railings and ladder steps, as well as some other beveled extruded and chamfered objects here and there, just to give the helicopter a little bit more personality. And that should be it for the process of actually making the model then. Why do I feel like I've forgotten something? Can't put my finger on it. Oh, yeah, that. Oh no! I remembered later on that I needed to use NURBS in the assessment. The problem was that Apaches don't have sandbags on them, so couldn't do that. In the end, I decided to create a flag which I then attached to the tail at the back. Okay, that should be it. Is there anything I'm forgetting? No. Nope, don't think so. Alright, let's move on. Other problems I encountered were within the animation and rendering process. When trying to animate the rotation of the propellers, they would not rotate in a fixed position and instead in a small circle. I later discovered that this was because the pivot of them was not centered, so after recentering it, it worked completely fine. Another problem that I had was that for some reason when I rendered the animation, which took me 4 hours by the way, 3ds Max compressed it from 1920 by 1080 down to 720 by 480. Not only that, but you could barely see the model because the lighting was so bright. It was like I was getting flashbanged.
Oh hey!
Yes, can I help you?
You suck!
That's not very nice.
Think fast, Chucklenuts.
Was that? No. You know what? No, we're gonna forget that even happened. Anyway, to fix this, I instead did a preview render with a higher image quality. It still compressed the AVI render, but it was much more visible. However, after some further research, I could have just rendered the animation as a collection of images and then pieced them together later, but the preview render took much less time. Alright, I think that just about covers it. Only thing to do now is move on to the... It's now time for the fruits of my labour. Any questions before we begin? Alright then, let's do this. Drum roll, please. What the... This isn't... Okay, hold on, wait, let me see if I can find it again. Alright, let's see... Ah, here it is. Alright, let's try this again. Allow me to fulfill a contractual obligation.
Helicopter, helicopter! Come on, get to the chopper. Oh, that's all you want to hear me say. That's all you want from f***ing Arnold. Oh, get to the chopper. Mr. Kimball, where's the toilet? There is no toilet. I'm the daddy. Put the key down and get to the chopper. That's all you want. I don't get it. I'm not some monkey that you can throw a coin at and go, oh, dance monkey, dance. Come on, do the voice, monkey. I don't want to do this no more. It's not fair. I'm the governor of California. I'm the f***ing Mr. Olympia World Champion. I'm the f***ing action movie star.
Alright,
Why
Arnold,
did-
it's okay, calm down. You've done your bit now. You know, you can take your donkey and you can fuck off out of my studio, alright? Alright, see you later.
Aren't I getting paid at all?
No, that's not how this works. Can you please get out of my studio? Alright then. Hope you're happy with that, Matt. Made the poor man cry. Well, at least we can move on to... Overall, I'm very happy with the outcome of the model. As someone who never thought they could do well at 3D modeling in the first place, let alone using a program like 3ds Max, I do think I outdid my expectations based on what I've made. Particularly, I think I did well with sticking to my reference, as well as adding in those little details like the lights and little bits of polygons here and there just to give the Apache a bit more personality. Not to mention, I think I did very well with the animation side of things, doing a full flying animation instead of just doing a simple moving camera to show off the model. But for things I'd like to improve on would definitely be my rendering ability. I still do not know the issue that occurred with my rendering and would like to focus more on it in future. I also think that I could have used some modifiers to help me more, so I would like to learn about the modifiers in 3ds Max and what they can do to help me when modeling. Finally, I do need to work on my management with polygons, tris and n-gons and where they can actually be used and not used, since I do know I left a lot of n-gons in the model when finishing it up. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was my journey through hell on trying to create an Apache Helicopter in 3ds Max. I'd like to take these last few moments to credit some of the people who helped with the making of this video.